chant the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Miditang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Datati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapad Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namostate Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullaravindaya Tapatra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Puranaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetreka Jnanamutraya Krishnaya Gita Amrita Duhe Namaha. We are studying Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 2, the contents of the Gita summarized. Yesterday we heard Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, realizing that he on his own cannot completely solve his problems. So he depended now on Krishna fully to help him out of that situation. So that's called Sharanagati. All the great Vaishnavacharyas, they have extolled very highly the importance of Sharanagati. Sharanagati is said to be the beginning of one's spiritual life, where one surrenders to Krishna. So Arjuna is doing that here to Lord Krishna. He's saying, I'm afflicted by the fault of miserliness. And because of that, I'm confused about my duties, completely confused. Therefore, you please educate me now, correct me now, right? And you tell me what I should do. What is the best for me? So in this way, Arjuna requests Krishna. Krishna, first of all, tells that, why you approach me? I'm just your friend. Arjuna then says, but I'm now your disciple. You become my guru now. I don't want to be a friend anymore for some time. Then if Lord would say to Arjuna, that Arjuna, don't become so sober and serious. I mean, take it easy. It's fine. This moment is little troublesome, but if you fight and win the kingdom, very soon you'll become so happy that you'll forget that this bad phase came in your life, you know. So he was trying to kind of discourage Arjuna from entering into a serious discussion on what is going on. He was just saying, it's okay, take it easy. I mean, don't worry so much about it. You enjoy, you'll be happy later. Sometimes it happens, you know, we become so sad in a particular situation that someone has to just tell us, it's okay, don't think too seriously about the situation. After some time, everything will be fine. So he's kind of just, you know, encouraging Arjuna to do like that. But then Arjuna in the next verse says, no, even if I become the king of all the three planets, planetary systems, I cannot become satisfied. This is troubling me, this problem which is at present troubling me so much. I want a solution. I want a very deep, you know, satisfying mm, solution to my problem. Fine. So that shows his eagerness to attain real knowledge. And Lord Krishna then accepts his requests. So, verse number 8, Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyad yachokam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasapatnam riddham rajang suranam apichadipatyam. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I'll not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Hmm? Mm. So, you see, what we learn from this about Arjuna's attitude or mentality from this verse? If can you please think about it a little bit and answer? What do we learn from about Arjuna's attitude from this verse?
Hmm. He is weak-minded.
Okay, he's weak-minded. That's fine. Something else. Go deeper into
He has
what
surrendered
Arjuna
in every.
is
He
feeling
has
now.
surrendered. Haribol. He has surrendered in every aspect.
Yeah, he has surrendered in every aspect. Still something more.
He is
What
He
is
detached.
needs
going?
a
He's
Prabhu
detached.
needs a permanent solution to his
He's
problem.
looking for a permanent solution for his problem. Hmm.
He
You know,
is
sometimes
compassionate.
I'll give you an example to explain. Sometimes when very bad things are happening in your life, you become so frustrated that you want to just get rid of everything and you want to go to one place where you're all by yourself, all alone, and you just want to sit and think deeply. What is the reality? What is the truth? What is life? What is its purpose? You know?
Depression.
If that kind of phase comes sometimes, and sometimes another phase comes where you are so frustrated with life, but if you get some chance of getting relieved from that frustration, which is like, you know, something to just change your mood of melancholy, you immediately become normal. So here Arjuna is telling Krishna that it's not that I'm very upset now, and if something good happens to me, my bad mood, upset mood will get relieved. No, he's saying, I'm seriously thinking, you know, I'm seriously thinking. So sometimes some people they come to spiritual life just because something wrong happened in their life. But as soon as something good happens to their life, then they're back to what they were doing earlier. Hmm. Many people come like that. They come and then they go also. Because something bad happened, they came to God, and something good happened, they went away from God. Hmm. But then those people who are completely disgusted with how things are going, and is like, I'm fed up of all this. Now I want to really know what is the ultimate solution, you know. So Arjuna is in that kind of situation. I want to know the ultimate solution. If you tell me you will become the king, so you'll become happy, so forget what's happening now. No, that happiness will not satisfy me. I can understand that. What to speak of that happiness? Even if I get the position of being the king of three planetary systems, you know, three worlds, still that will not make me satisfied, which means he's looking for a very deep solution to what's going on in his life. Mm. That means he's serious, very serious about spiritual reality to know that. That makes him a very good student here. And therefore, Krishna is going to also speak to him properly uh, about the knowledge of soul, right? Let's read the purport. Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of the spiritual master, Lord Shri Krishna. He could understand that his so called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were drying up his whole existence. And it was impossible for him to solve such perplexities without the help of a spiritual master like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc., are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said that one who is a master in the science of Krishna consciousness regardless of his social position, is the real spiritual master. Kiva vipra kiva nyasi shudra kene noy, ye Krishna tattva veta se guru hoy. It does not matter whether a person is a Vipra, learned scholar in Vedic wisdom, or is born in a lower family, or is in the renounced order of life. If he is the master in the science of Krishna, he is the perfect and bona fide spiritual master. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 8.128. So, without being a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, no one is a bona fide spiritual master. It is also said in the Vedic literature षट्कर्मनिपुणो विप्रो मन्त्रतन्त्रविशारदः अवैष्णवो गुरुर्न स्यात् वैष्णवः श्वपचो गुरुः. A scholarly Brahmana, expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnava or expert in the science of Krishna consciousness. But a person born in a family of a lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnava or Krishna conscious. Padma Puran. The problems of material existence, birth, old age, disease, and death cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. In many parts of the world, there are states which are replete with all facilities of life, which are full of wealth and economically developed. Yet the problems of material existence are still present. They are seeking peace in different ways, but they can achieve real peace only if they consult Krishna or the Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the science of Krishna through the bona fide representative of Krishna, the man in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada is pointing out to the Western civilization. When he went to America, he came across boys and girls coming from very rich families who had all kinds of material facilities and comfort required in life that a person can desire, and still they were not happy. And to experience some kind of mental peace and satisfaction, they were taking to drugs. They were taking to drugs and trying to enjoy that state of peace. So he's saying people are looking for it. Everyone is looking for it. Regardless of how rich one may be, how intelligent and educated one may be, a big position one may have. As a person who is actually intelligent is always looking for that real happiness. Right? And that is possible in Krishna consciousness. If economic development and material comforts could drive away one's lamentations for family, social, national, or international inebrities, then Arjuna would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets would be unable to drive away his lamentations. He sought, therefore, refuge in Krishna consciousness, and that is a right path for peace and harmony. Economic development or supremacy over the world can be finished at any moment by the cataclysms of material nature. Even elevation into a higher planetary situation, as men are now seeking on the moon planet, can also be finished at one stroke. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this. Shrine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. When the results of pious activities are finished, one falls down again from the peak of happiness to the lowest status of life. Many politicians of the world have fallen down in that way. Such downfalls only constitute more causes for lamentation. Therefore, if you want to curb lamentation for good, then we have to take shelter of Krishna, as Arjuna is seeking to do. So Arjuna asked Krishna to solve his problem definitely, and that is the way of Krishna consciousness. Fine. Next verse. Sanjay Uvacha Evam Uttva Rishikesham Gulakeshaha Parantapaha Nayotsya Iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Hmm? So now Arjuna stops talking. He concluded, I'll not fight. I stopped talking. Giving space to Krishna to talk. So far he was talking, Krishna was only listening. Now he said, now I stop talking. You talk. Hmm? In this verse, you notice two names of Krishna and Arjuna are used. Rishikesha, Gulakesha. These two names came in a verse in chapter 1 also. That is verse number 24. Hmm? Where Sanjaya told to Dhritarashtra that the Lord Rishikesha placed the chariot, in between the two armies, as was asked by Gulakesha. So 1.24, you can check once that verse, 1.24. Read that verse translation. And here you have 2.9, where you have the same two words used. So why would Sanjaya use the same set of names in that verse and in this verse? Because Sanjaya is indirectly telling something to all of us, the readers of Bhagavad Gita. Also to Dhritarashtra is telling something indirectly. What is it telling? That whatever you hear in these verses from 24 to 2.9, you will develop a certain, mentality of what kind of person Arjuna is, isn't it? So don't go by that mentality of Arjuna's personality. Why? Because this is only a particular kind of, you can say, mm, change of mood of Arjuna, which is happening due to the presence of the Lord Rishikesha, who is the controller of mind and senses. Arjuna is Gulakesha, which means he cannot fall in illusion. But in these verses, 1.24 to 2.9, you see Arjuna falling in illusion. So how can someone who cannot fall in illusion fall in illusion? So that is happening because of the presence of Rishikesha, by the desire of Rishikesha. So don't think that Arjuna is actually going into illusion. No, he is only in these verses behaving like that because of the ichha or desire of Rishikesha. Mhm. That's why. Fine. So that's why the same, it's like, using a opening bracket and a closing bracket. So with that, these two names are given in 1.24 and 2.9, opening and closing. So one section is over like that, in that way. Translation. We'll read the translation here. Shweta Mataji, please read.
Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight. and was instead leaving the battlefield for begging profession. But Sanjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies, Parantapa. Although Arjuna was for the time being overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered on to Krishna, the spiritual master, supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be freed from the false lamentation and resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self realization or Krishna consciousness, and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated since Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end.
Yes. Next verse 10. Tam uvacha ऋषिकेशः प्रहसन् इव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तम् idam vachah. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Krishna is smiling. Prahasan iva Bharata. He, he's smiling. Smiling at what? Smiling at Arjuna's, uh, you can say, timid behavior. And therefore he will chastise Arjuna. Krishna is thinking, you're talking like a very learned person. You're talking like a very learned person. But um, you're talking like a very learned person, but you are behaving like a fool because you are crying. But you're talking like a very learned person. So, O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Hmm. Let's read the purport. Abhay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. The talk was going on between intimate friends, namely the Rishikesha and the Gudakesha. As friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became a student of the other. Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone. And yet, the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. But when he was accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master, with gravity as it is required. It appears that the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies so that all were benefited. So the talks of the Bhagavad-Gita are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all, and friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear them. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So the message was given in the presence of everyone. Many times it is presented like Krishna spoke to Arjuna privately somewhere, you know, and no one should hear this message, only Arjuna should hear. But it was not like that. Some people also think time was paused and no one was moving, and Krishna spoke the message to Arjuna. No, Krishna spoke it openly in front of everyone. It's just that some heard, some did not hear. But then it was not a secret, sermon given to Arjuna. It was not like that, right? Even when Bhishma Pitama was leaving his body, before he left his body, he was talking to Yudhishthir Maharaj and explaining many subject matters. So after he stopped his um, teachings to Yudhishthir, he completely focused his mind on Krishna. And that time he mentioned that Arjuna, you are so fortunate, you are so loved by Krishna that when you were in complete, you know, confusion in the battlefield, you spoke to Lord Krishna and he gave you such a sweet message. You know. So Bhishma Pitama also came to know about the message of Bhagavad Gita. Many people like that heard, but some people did not hear, some heard, which means something very essential about spiritual life. Nothing is secret in it. Everything is very open. It just depends on us how much we accept and how much we follow and apply in life. Mhm. Not that some people are more fortunate because they are told certain things, and some people are not fortunate because they are not told certain things. Mm. Everything is available. How much I want to take advantage of it, that is my credit. Um, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, did not instruct only Srila Prabhupada to go to the West or preach Krishna consciousness in English language. He used to openly talk about it. It's not that only Prabhupada he saw and then he mentioned it to Prabhupada and then he never spoke about it to anyone else. No, he would speak about it very often in many programs, in public programs, in personal meetings with his disciples. Anyone and everyone knew who was a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta that this is his desire. It was not something secretive, everyone knew. But then Srila Prabhupada took that instruction to his heart, applied, and brought out results. Sometimes we may think, I'll go to my Guru Maharaj and he'll tell me something special which he has not told anyone else. You know, and then that's how my spiritual life will become very nice. You know, because he'll tell me something which is not for anyone else. But it's not like that. Everything is same and everything is for everyone. It's just on my sincerity, my interest, my maturity, what I take, how much I take. So Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita to everyone actually. So many people were there. But Arjuna understood it most. You know. Similarly, Shukdev Goswami, did he speak Bhagavatam to only one person? No, he was speaking to Parikshit and thousands of people were listening at the same time, right? So that message was made available to everyone. It's just that different people take to the message differently based on their own interest, based on their own desire, you know, right? That's how it happens. So here it is said by Prabhupada, it was not something done in a secret place, openly exchanged between the two armies. Fine?
Uh, Vijay,
Yes,
uh,
Mataji.
um, it is said that this Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad Puran is spoken to everyone. It is us to how much to take it. So, Prabhuji, uh, consciousness varies. So, Prabhupada was empowered by, I think so, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Acharya, and Krishna, because everybody has different roles in this world. So, I think empowerment comes from the Guru and Krishna. So, uh, so how can everyone do or means? I mean to say, it is empowerment. If a Guru empowers, Shishya can do, or it is vice versa.
It is both ways. It is both ways. It is both ways. Like empowerment is also there, and your desire should also be there, right? Both the ways. It's not just that the spiritual master or the supreme lord will choose some special people and then just empower them. No, it's their interest also, their desire also. It is both the ways. So we desire, we become empowered, hmm, to practice Krishna consciousness or to do some seva. Fine. To the degree we desire, to that degree we become empowered. Okay. So now from next verse, which is verse number 11, Krishna starts talking. This is where actually Bhagavad Gita begins. So far, what we heard was only kind of setting the scene behind the knowledge Krishna is going to speak. You know? Now, this is where Krishna will start instructing. So, so many people are there who prefer to read Bhagavad Gita from this verse only. But that's wrong. If you don't read and understand the previous verses, what is coming henceforth will not become understandable. It will not make sense, you know. So that is also important, very important actually, in fact. But from here, Krishna starts talking. Verse number 11 to verse number 30, he'll talk about knowledge of the soul. And the reason for speaking so much about the soul is to convince Arjuna that he should fight. Because, you know, as spirit soul, he will not get killed. As spirit soul, he cannot kill others also, right? So knowledge of soul. What is he saying? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashochayananvasocastvam Pragyavadangsha Bhashase Gatasuna Gatasungscha Nanusochanti Panditah. Ashochayan. You know, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's teachings begin with this word, shoka, and it ends also with the same word, shoka. Sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam raja, aham tam sarva papebhyo. What is the last line?
Mokshayishyami ma.
Mokshayashi Masucha.
Mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So it ends with suchaha. If you look at the translation, do not worry, do not lament, do not hesitate. It starts with asochayan, you know. So it's a very, you can say, a very poetic way of beginning and ending. Starts at the same note, ends at the same note. He begins at what? You are lamenting. Lamenting about what? Which is not worthy of lamentation. Hmm? So you are lamenting about what is not worthy of lamentation. At the same time, you are talking like a very learned person. You give so many reasons, justifications, arguments why you won't fight. But then Krishna is telling that's not how learned people are actually. So you're not learned, you are a fool. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Purport. Sankarshan Vishnu Prabhu, please read. Unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Bhuri, Dhanvat Pranam. The Lord, they continue? Haribol?
Yes, yes, please read.
The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and characterized the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, "You are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition." As explained in the later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit, and the controller of the both. Arjun argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and supreme is even more important than religious formalities. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy for lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not important as the soul. One who knows that is actually learned, and for him, there is no cause of lamentation regardless of the condition of the material body.
Fine.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
So Srila Prabhupada here is saying, as explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles be given more importance than politics or sociology. So if you translate that in Sanskrit, basically he's saying Arjuna argued that Dharma Shastras should be given more importance than Artha Shastra. But he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and supreme, which means Jnana Shastra, is even more important than religious formularies, Dharma Shastras. Hmm. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man.
Prabhuji, can you explain this line again?
Which line, Prabhu? One I just said now.
The one where
Which line?
the knowledge of matter, soul, and supreme is even more important than religious formalities.
Yeah. So here, when it said that the knowledge of soul is more important than religious knowledge, let's go back. Arjuna argued that religious principles, that means Dharma Shastra, should be given more importance than politics or sociology, which means Artha Shastra. Hmm. But he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and supreme, which is Jnana Shastra, is even more important than religious formularies, Dharma Shastra. This is what I'm trying to say. You can see on the slide. Kill the aggressors, Artha Shastra says. Dharma Shastra says, don't kill your family members. And Jnana Shastra says, soul cannot be killed.
So what is right?
Hmm?
What is right? You are saying Ardha Shastra say kill the aggressors.
It depends on what you want to accept, at what level your consciousness is. Therefore, what is right and what is wrong depends a lot on time, place, and person involved. There's nothing like one thing which is right for everyone and one thing which is wrong for everyone. It depends on time, it depends on place, it depends on you, the person, what is right, what is wrong. Right?
Prabhuji's solution to lamentation is a surrender only, na?
Solution to lamentation is knowledge.
Okay. However, you have knowledge, still we lament.
No,
We
we don't have
just
knowledge. We only have
body.
information. That's why we lament. We don't have knowledge. We have information. We just collected some piece of information and put it in our head, and then we call I have knowledge. That's not knowledge. Knowledge basically means you are understanding it, you are applying it, you are experiencing it. Then you have knowledge. If I just know it, then that's not sufficient. So knowledge means you know, you understand, you apply, and you experience. That's knowledge. So I understand from where your question is coming. Like I already know I am spirit soul, so I have the knowledge, but still I have lamentation. But the point is, we don't really know that I'm spirit soul. We just have that information with us, but we don't know.
So, Prabhuji, does that mean that we are giving more importance to Dharma Shastra?
We are giving importance to whatever material knowledge we have, and because our realization is stuck there, we have not come to the soul realization yet. It's not easy to come to that realization anyway, but still, we should not be satisfied with our own level of realization. I gave this example earlier. Someone is eating a piece of cake, and that person says, "It's very tasty." You watch that person eating, and you go and tell another person that cake is really tasty. You're just repeating that person's statement, isn't it? But have you tasted the cake yourself? No. You're only repeating that the cake is very tasty. So that repetition of the message is good, because you are not telling something wrong. You're not telling that the cake is bad. You're telling the right thing. The cake is tasty, but you have not experienced it yet personally. Similarly, when personality like Srila Prabhupada says, "I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul," he's eating the cake. When we are saying, "I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul," I'm just repeating what Prabhupada said. But I have not personally eaten the cake, right? Personally, I have not eaten the cake. I'm just repeating what he said. So we have to also come to a point we can eat that cake. And therefore, this study is there of Bhagavad-Gita, and it should not be the only study. When we study Gita again and again, when we apply to the message of Krishna again and again, we become purified, and then one day we will also eat that cake.
Isn't that one word to Gita, surrender?
Yeah, which is a process, which is a process. Every day you are trying to surrender bit by bit, means apply the process. It's not a momentary thing. It's a bit by bit, step by step process.
Prabhuji,
Fine. Yes, Mataji.
yeah, for the information to become knowledge, you're saying it's through repetition. Uh,
How does
repetition.
information becomes knowledge?
Mm,
It is through application.
okay.
You understand, you apply through application.
How
Okay.
can you stop lamenting, Prabhuji? Suppose if, let's say, example, someone dies his family, how can that person stop lamenting? Someone
That
is has
person,
lost.
that's what we'll discuss now. How did Krishna stop Arjuna's lamentation? By giving him a different perspective of what is going on. So if you are in knowledge, you would develop a different perspective of what is happening, right? So you develop a different perspective. Next verse, 2.12. Na tu evahang jatu nasang na tang neme janatipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam ataha param. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. We all existed in the past, we all are existing in the present, will continue to exist in the future. So, who are you lamenting about? What are you lamenting about? What are you going to lose? No. That's the message that Krishna wants to give to Arjuna. But our acharyas, they use this verse also to give us a different message, which is basically again needed. So what they use? What is the use they make? Here Krishna is talking about plurality of entities. I, you, and others. Isn't it? And this plurality existed in the past, this plurality is existing in the present, and this plurality will exist in the future. That's what Krishna is saying. So our acharyas use this verse to demolish impersonal concepts. What are impersonal concepts? There was unity in the past, in the present there is diversity, and in future there will be unity again. That's what the impersonalists think. But here it's clearly given by Krishna. In the past we all existed, in the present we all are existing, in future also we are going to all exist. And he's mentioning it as separate, me, you, and others. Right? So our acharyas, they use this verse to therefore defeat impersonal thoughts or impersonalism mentality. We'll read the purport, one paragraph. Tulasi Mataji, first paragraph.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Pranams. Purport. In the Vedas, in the Katha Upanishad, as well as in the Swetara Upanishad, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of innumerable living entities in terms of their different situations according to individual work and reaction of work. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is also by his plenary portions alive in the heart of every living entity. Only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace. Prabhu, must I read the Sanskrit?
Yes, Mataji.
Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidati kaman tam atman stan ye anupashyanti dhiras tesham santihi sasvati netaresham. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Again, this verse is quoted from Katha Upanishad to tell us about plurality of entities. Nityaha Nityanam. Nityaha means there is one eternal person. Nityanam means there are many eternal personalities. Chetanaha Chetananam. There is one conscious entity, the Supreme One. Chetananam means there are many conscious entities, the parts and parcels. Okay. So this verse is again quoted to support the point that there are many entities. And this eternal supreme entity who is one, what is he doing? That ekaha bahunam, of the many, yo vidadhati kaman, he's fulfilling the desires. So that one is fulfilling the desires of everyone else. Mhm. So one who sees this, tam atmastham ye anupashyanti dhiraha. Such a person who can understand this becomes completely peaceful in nature. Who understands this can become completely peaceful. Okay. Next paragraph. Krishna Mataji.
The same Vedic truth given to Arjuna is given to all persons in the world who pose themselves as very learned, but factually have but a poor fund of knowledge. The Lord says clearly that he himself, Arjuna, and all the kings who are assembled on the battlefield are eternally individual beings, and that the Lord is eternally the maintainer of the individual living entities, both in their conditioned and in the liberated situations. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Individual Person, and Arjun, the Lord's eternal associate, and all the kings assembled there are individual eternal persons. It is not that they did not exist as individuals in the past, and it is not that they will not remain eternal persons. Their individuality existed in the past, and their individuality will continue in the future without interruption. Therefore, there is no cause for lamentation for anyone. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Individuality is being emphasized. Individuality means I, you, everyone else is an individual. Hmm? So Krishna accepts that and Krishna appreciates that. Fine. Which means there will be always people of different nature. And Krishna is happy with that. Krishna is okay with that. Impersonalism basically means what? There should not be diversity. There should be only some kind of, homogeneous nature. In our day-to-day life, also, we sometimes tend to become impersonal. How? Everything should happen the way I like. What I like, others should also like, right? But that's not accepted by Krishna. There are going to be different kinds of people, but different likings and dislikings. And the attempt to make everyone like me or everyone like what I like is not acceptable. Why? Because there's individuality. Everyone is made different by Krishna. You know? And being different, they'll have different mind, different nature, different desires, different liking and disliking. You know, that is okay, and that's how it is. Fine. But impersonalism is no, we don't want variety. We just want everyone to be one, same, similar, right? Next words, next paragraph. Sarveshwar Jagannath Prabhu,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The
Dandavat Pranam.
Mayavadi theory that after liberation, the individual soul, separated by the covering of Maya or illusion, will merge into impersonal Brahma and lose its individual existence is not supported herein by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Authority. Nor is the theory that we only think of individuality is the conditioned state supported herein. Krishna clearly herein says herein that in the future also the individuality of the Lord and others, as it is confirmed in the Upanishads, will continue eternally. This statement of Krishna is authoritative because Krishna cannot be subject of illusion. If individuality were not a fact, then Krishna would not have stressed it so much, even for the future. The Mayavadi may argue that the individuality spoken by Krishna is not spiritual but material. Even accepting the argument that the individuality is material, then how can one distinguish Krishna's individuality? Krishna affirms his individuality in the past and confirms his individuality in the future also. He has confirmed his individuality in many ways, and impersonal Brahma has been declared to be subordinate to him. Krishna has maintained spiritual individuality all along. If he is accepted as an ordinary conditioned soul in the individual consciousness, then his Bhagavad-Gita has no value as the authoritative scripture. A common man with all the four defects of human ferality is unable to teach that which is worth hearing. The Gita is above such literature. No mundane book compared with the Bhagavad Gita. When one accepts Krishna as ordinary man, the Gita loses all importance. The Mayavadi argues that the plurality mentioned in this verse is conventional and that it refers to the body. But previous of this verse, such bodily conceptions were already condemned. After condemning the bodily conception of living entities, how was it possible for Krishna to place the conventional proposition of the body again? Therefore, individuality is maintained on spiritual grounds and thus confirmed by the great Acharya like Sri Ramanuja and others. It is clearly mentioned in many places of in the Gita that this spiritual individuality is understood by those who are devotees of the Lord, those who are envious of Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, have no bona fide access to the great literature. The non-devotee's approach to the teaching of the Gita is something like that of a bee licking on the bottle of honey. But one cannot have a taste of honey unless he opens the bottle. Similarly, the mysticism of the Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by a devotee, and no one else can taste it, as it is stated in the fourth chapter of the book. Nor can Gita be touched by a person who envy the very existence of the Lord. Therefore, Mayavadi explanation of the Gita is a most misleading presentation of the whole truth. Lord Chaitanya has forbidden us to read commentations made by Mayavadis and warned that one who takes to such an understanding of Mayavadi philosophy lose all the power to understand the real mystery of the Gita. If individuality refers to the empirical universe, then there is no need of teaching by the Lord. The plurality of the individual soul and the Lord is an eternal fact, and it is confirmed by the Vedas as mentioned above. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This paragraph sounds to be a little confusing. What is going on in this paragraph? Hmm? The arguments given here. Are you
Mayavadi
able?
symptoms.
Mayavadi?
Symptoms.
What is being said here? Exactly how the logic of arguments is presented. Hmm?
The
One
logic
thing that mentioned is Mayavadi accept the individuality of the people, but they do not accept the individuality of the Supreme, right? So Prabhupada is saying, how can they question the individuality of the Supreme if they accept the individuality of, the people? So that is
Okay,
wrong.
one is that point, yes. And what other point is there? He's saying that Mayavadis also argue sometimes that individuality of Krishna is not spiritual but material, which means what is their presentation of philosophy? There is Brahman, which is Nirguna. Sometimes that Nirguna Brahman becomes Saguna. Saguna means having a form, but actually it is Nirguna. So for them, Krishna, Rama, etc. are Saguna Brahman. All these are Saguna Brahman. Fine. Whereas original absolute truth is Nirgun Brahman. So for how what is our understanding? Is the form of Krishna temporary manifestation of absolute truth, or it's a permanent eternal form?
It's a permanent
Permanent
eternal.
eternal.
Permanent eternal form. But for Mayavadis, no, it's only manifested for some time. It's a temporary manifestation of the form, you know. So just like I am accepting a material body for a certain period of time, in which body I'm going to live for a certain number of years. So they think that absolute truth has also accepted a material body like Krishna, Ramachandra, Narsinga, and they live in that material body for a certain number of years. And then as the minute soul leaves the body, which we call as death. Similarly, this Param Brahman also leaves that material body and goes from the stage of Sagun to Nirgun, which is
What is
totally wrong, right? As per our understanding, Krishna's form is not temporary. Krishna's form is eternal. It's always like that, isn't it? Same thing with Lord Ramachandra's form. So, what they may say is Krishna's individuality is material, not spiritual. But then, what is Krishna saying in the verse? I existed like this, even in the past. I'm existing like this in the present. And I'm also going to exist like this in the future. So Krishna is telling that this form of mine is not temporary. This form of mine existed at all times. You know. And then if they say well, this manifestation of Krishna's form is temporary, still they argue. Then Prabhupada is giving a master argument. What is that? If Krishna is material, if Krishna's form is material, it's a product of illusion, then why are you studying Bhagavad Gita? Then what is the value to Bhagavad Gita? If you are in Maya and Krishna is also in Maya, then why hear to someone who is in Maya? Krishna should be Krishna should be above Maya. That's why you should hear from Krishna, no? Then isn't it? If Krishna is also in Maya, then why should you hear from Krishna? Then don't hear Bhagavad Gita. Don't write a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Hmm. So the point is that if you are accepting the message of Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken by Krishna, you cannot say that Krishna is material. You cannot say that Krishna's individuality is material. You know? And then sometimes they may say, well, Krishna is just speaking like that because he's speaking to all of us which are in material consciousness. He's talking on the material platform. So then Prabhupada says, if Krishna has to speak on material platform, why would he chastise Arjuna for thinking on material platform? He chastised Arjuna just in the previous verse that Arjuna, you're lamenting for the body. Why are you lamenting for the body? So if Krishna is talking on bodily platform, why would he criticize that? Isn't it? So he is talking on the spiritual platform. And there is individuality on spiritual platform also. Right? That we have to understand. Very important. So sometimes even in spiritual arena, you see even in spiritual arena there is variety. Sometimes you see group of devotees or group of transcendentalists argue with another group of transcendentalists that who is better or who is superior, but that is not acceptable. Why? Because in spiritual arena also there is varieties of devotional services, varieties of rasas in which one loves Krishna. So there's no need to fight or no need to argue who is better. That individuality is always there. Hmm? Sometimes in our iskcon movement also, devotees, they argue with each other in the sense whose devotional service is better, what one is doing is better than what someone else is doing. So that is not correct. Why? Because everyone is serving Krishna with their individuality. Someone may like a particular form of devotional service more than someone else, and that's completely okay. No problem with that. It's fine. Not everyone has to be similar because there is individuality. We have to accept that. Okay. Shweta Mataji, what's your question? What is nirguna? Nirguna means something which doesn't have attributes, characteristics, form, qualities, which God then Mayavadis are believing. For them, God is an abstract concept. An abstract concept means it is something which is inconceivable because they don't want to give God any form. They don't want to give God any name. They don't want to give God any. For them, if you can describe God, then he's not God. That's their conception. It has to.
Actually, not believing God, that means.
Yes, their belief is not complete, basically. That's why Prabhupada says you are handicapping God. So how can you then believe in God? You're making God handicapped.
Ishta.
Hmm? Okay, next verse. Dehinasmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatra na mohiyati. Very famous verse, easy to memorize. We might have memorized this verse also before. So dehinasmin yatha. Dehe. In any Sanskrit verse, you find the word yatha. In that verse, mostly you will also find the word tatha. Okay? Yatha, tatha. They come in as a pair. in any verse. Why? Because yatha is, and tatha verse means a verse which gives you a comparison. Like in Hindi we say, right? Aisa vaisa. No. In English we say just like this, like that. So yatha tatha. So there's a comparison here. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. In this body, just like the soul, the living entity, goes on from one phase to another phase. What are those phases? First of all, um, the baby is there, then comes boyhood stage, and then youth stage, and then old age. And so, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly, tatha means similarly, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So, what is Krishna telling Arjuna? Arjuna, when a baby who is just 2 months old, he or she becomes 5 years old, after some time, that baby will become 5 years old. Do you cry? Does the mother and father cry? Why my baby has become 5 year old? It was better that the baby remained 2 years old. No, doesn't cry. Then when the 5 year old child becomes 15-year-old child, does the parent cry? Why my child has grown up to 15 years? No. When that 15-year-old becomes of marriageable age, does someone cry? No. So he's saying, when you don't lament for all these changes, then why are you lamenting for the last change, which is death? You should not
Because we,
lament.
yeah,
You should not
it's a,
lament for that stage also, right? So just like what you said now, Arjuna also said the same thing. Because in all these changes, the person remains, but in the last change, the person leaves, and you are attached to that person. So it's natural to lament. Mhm. But then Krishna says, but you should be happy because now that person is going to get a new body. What is better? That person lives in their old body and suffers, or gets a new body and becomes, again young and enjoys life. So Arjuna says, yeah, it is good for that person, but for us it's bad because we are going to miss that person. For us it's bad. So then Krishna will answer that doubt also of Arjuna in the next verse. We'll see that. Before, let's read the purport here. Sharada Mataji.
Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. The individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there is no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So, Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least in the heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So, in either case, there was no cause of lamentation.
Thank you. Vardhani Mataji, read the next two paragraphs.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Any, any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a dhira, or a most sober man. Such a man is never deluded by the changes of bodies. The Mayavadi theory of oneness of the spirit soul cannot be entertained on the ground that the spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as a fragmental portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make the supreme cleavable or changeable against the principle of the supreme soul's being unchangeable. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the Supreme exist eternally, Sanatana, and are and are called Shara. That is, they have a tendency to fall down into material nature. These fragmental portions are eternally so, and, and even after liberation, the individual soul remains the same, fragmental. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul, who is present in each and every individual body and is known as the Paramatma. He is different from the individual living entity. When the sky is reflected in water, the reflections represent both the sun and the moon and the stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities and the sun or the moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna, and the Supreme Soul is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. They are not on the same level, as it will be apparent in the beginning of the fourth chapter. If Arjuna is on the same level with Krishna and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then their relationship of instructor and instructed becomes meaningless. If both of them are diluted by the illusory energy Maya, then there is no need of being the instructor and the other in the instructed. Such instruction would be useless because, in the clutches of Maya, no one can be an authoritative instructor. Under the circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity, Arjuna, who is a forgetful soul deluded by Maya. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you. Any question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Uh, Prabhuji, you, as said in Bhagavad Gita, soul is eternal, so we should not lament. So even if not as death, I'm saying, even if someone goes away from our life, you are seeing nowadays depression is increasing, all those psychiatric problems are increasing. So these are because of some means if suppose someone goes away from the life, so that affects you that much that you can't take it. So that is again lamentation. So we are how means I don't know how we can come to that level where we don't lament. And
Okay.
till that after years pass, we don't remember everything about the person. Still, little memories will come, and when we will feel emotional. I think it happens with everyone's life. So it is easy to say don't lament, but
Correct. So why does that happen?
Because of lack of knowledge, we
Lack
have
of knowledge
information.
and
Rosie, attachment to that person.
I'm sorry, there was network disconnection. Yes, because of lack of knowledge and because of attachment and what is the reason?
less faith in God.
Less faith in God. What else?
More dependence on that person.
Yes, because of misplaced attachment. Attachment is not wrong, but we are attached to the wrong thing, and that's why we lament. We are attached to the wrong thing. Are you really attached to that person as soul, or you are attached to that person's body.
Main thing is
But
body.
what are we lamenting for? We are not lamenting for that person as spirit soul. We are only lamenting because now we miss that body. You know. So when you will lament for that person as spirit soul, then your lamentation is not wrong. Then that is called spiritual lamentation. That's fine. But then that lamentation will not make you go into depression or commit suicide or anything like that. You know. So our lamentation is on what material platform? Why? Why am I remembering that person? Because that person was nice to me, and now I am missing that person. But that person was nice to me on what platform? Material platform. He was giving me care, love, facilities, comfort. On what level? Material level, isn't it? And because I am in material platform, I feel that that is fulfillment. And someone was doing it for me when that person is no longer there, then I miss that person. So when you personally become advanced in spiritual consciousness and you rise above your own material needs and desires, then you'll not miss a person on material platform then. If someone is frustrated in depression, it's so much because of one's own being, materially conscious.
Can a guru lament on the student?
Can a guru lament for?
Student
Lament in what way?
means suppose the student is very nice one and he wants to teach. He thinks that he will be the best student and he goes for some or the other reason. Should he lament?
I do not understand, Prabhu. In what way you are? What is the question exactly? But first of all, before you ask that question, let me just complete what I want to say. So lamentation is there because I am so much on material platform. So if when Krishna is saying don't lament, he's not just telling you that don't lament. It's first of all telling you to rise above material consciousness. And if you do that, then automatically you'll stop lamenting. Or at least your lamentation will get reduced. That's the point. So why people are committing suicide? Are they committing suicide because someone is happy? Because um, it has got something to do with others' happiness? No, it has got to do with their personal problems. I mean, in the sense that they are suffering, they are thinking there is no happiness in this world. So for that reason, let me commit suicide. Is it a sacrifice which they are doing for someone else's benefit? No. For own personal reason, no? I am not happy, so let me die. That means it is selfishness. You are so much thinking about your personal happiness. So getting into depression, getting into frustration, honestly speaking, the main reason for that is we are thinking too much about our own happiness. That's why we get into depression. For those who try to serve others, make others happy, do something good to others, and they find joy in that, they don't get into depression very easily because they have a reason to live, a purpose to live. And those who are always looking for how will I be happy? How can others do things for me? What will make me satisfied, comfortable? Things should happen the way I want. Everyone should be nice to me and all that. Now, a person with that kind of mentality, then as soon as a person loses some someone or something which was giving him or happiness, that person goes into a black zone, a dark zone, that everything is lost in life. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna in whole chapter one. What were we discussing in the purport? Prabhupada is saying Arjuna is lamenting so much because Arjuna is only thinking about himself. If he stops thinking about himself and starts thinking about what Krishna wants, immediately his lamentation will go away. Right? So when you focus too much on yourself, you get into depression. You lament unnecessarily. When you start focusing on something else other than yourself, then your lamentation will not be there so much.
So, Prabhuji, I mean, if we want to stop lamentation, we should always be thinking of what Krishna wants rather than what
What
I
Krishna
want.
wants,
That
what
is
is
what.
my duty? If something is happening in my life, I should just accept it and not think about it too much. I should focus on something else. That will stop one from lamenting. But if it's all about, I wanted this, but I did not get, I wanted this, but I did not get, why it is not happening, it should have happened like that. If you are stuck with that desire or with that expectation, then you'll always lament because you'll always have that, you know, pinprick that it did not happen the way I want. And come out of it. And
So how to come out of it?
by becoming more selfless in nature, stop thinking about yourself, about your own problems, and start helping others in reducing their problems to some extent. Right? Don't just think about my problem, my suffering, my misery, my unhappiness. Right? You just change that focus to something else. That's what we'll discuss in the next verse. What is Krishna telling Arjuna? Arjuna would raise the same doubt as you were raising. We love those people. So if they die, will we not miss them? Will we not feel, empty inside? And what Krishna says in the next verse, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama paino nityas tam stitikshasva bharata. He's saying, Arjuna, it is true that such experiences are painful, but that's how this nature is. That's how this material world is. Things come here and things go away from here. So, just like the sun comes in the summer season, it's very strong, right? Heat is very high. And then after that, winter comes where the heat is not so strong. Then you feel cold. So he's saying the summer came, it stayed for some time, it went away. The winter came, it stayed for some time and went away. So are you going to cry for summer or are you going to cry for winter? No. What you'll do, you just accept, tolerate. So he's saying like that in life, such moments will keep on coming and going. And you just have to accept, tolerate that's how it is. For that, you have to make your heart little strong. You know, that's how it is. Just accept it. Mm. So he's saying tolerate. You should tolerate. You should have some tolerance. All right. So many people are committing suicide. That is true. But why are they committing suicide? Because problems have increased in life compared to before? Not necessarily. Who says that? In fact, if you compare lifestyle from what it was before, we are living a more comfortable and luxurious life than before. Much more comfortable and luxurious, isn't it? Not that problems have increased. Nowadays, it is so common to see a seventh standard or eighth standard child going in a scooty to school, right? But when we used to go to school, did we have a scooty to go to school? No, either we walked to the school or maybe we cycle to the school, or if there was a van, we went by van. But there was no like personal scooty you take to the school. Mm. Right? Many people, students just walk to the school, even if the school was far away. So life was difficult. People in the previous days, talking about our grandparents, if they had to go to the school, sometimes they had to walk 10 kilometers to reach the school. And then after the school, again walk 10 kilometers back to home. But they did not commit suicide so easily. Problems are more, suicides were less. Now problems are less, suicides are more. The reason is the capacity to tolerate has gone down. The capacity to tolerate has gone down. And why we are not able to tolerate? Because unfortunately, the education system, the present civilization, the present lifestyle, the attitude of the parents, it has all created for children of this age life more than a reality, a dream. You know, they live in a very dreamy life. Because parents also don't want to show them the reality of life. They want to keep them away from all, difficulties, challenges. They want everything to become so easy for them. Everything is very easy. Parents don't want my child should struggle. No, everything should be, you know, readily made available for the child. They should not be struggle for anything, you know. So what happens is they start thinking life is like this forever. But you know what happens when they grow? After some age, they realize, no, this is very different from what reality is. And they are not able to take to it, accept it. And that's because of wrong presentation of what life is. So therefore they commit suicide because they think everything they want they can get, and when they don't get, it's like a big shock for them. But then children who have been grown up in a culture where right from their childhood everything they wanted they did not get, they know, okay, that's how life is, you know. But now it's not like that. Now they think, whatever I want I can do, whatever I want I can get. And when something else comes to experience, they're not able to take it.
So,
Too much of
Prabhuji,
time.
sorry to interrupt. Does that mean that struggle is important? So we should.
Yeah, struggle is very important. Struggle is very important because struggle not only makes you aware of the reality of life, struggle also makes you strong. Struggle makes you strong. Struggle makes you very strong.
Prabhuji, but children who are already, having the background of Krishna consciousness, but
For
this.
them also, for them also, parents should not make it very easy.
Okay.
They should also struggle a bit.
Right.
Because you get used to your environment, no? Then you start expecting everything like that.
Right.
Then we know life is not like that. Is life pre-decided? That's how life going to be? No, it's not going to be. So when people are kept in a very protective environment, protection is good. But when it is too much of protective environment, that makes them a weak person. So as a caretaker, as a parent, we can't just become so protective that we are suffocating that person's growth.
Right.
And what happens is modern day times, it's happening a lot. You know why? Because in the past, it was very easy. We noticed possible also. Each parent would have five, six children. We're not talking about something very distant in the past. You just go 40 years ago, right? We all have this experience, no? Five, six kids, sometimes eight kids also, four kids also. So what happened? Parents, they did not get so much time to put on one child because they have so many children, plus they have so many other duties also in life. Joint family was there. Life was anyway difficult. Things were not easy to get. So parents did not put so much attention on each child, and still the children grew up very well. Now only one child or two children, fine. And you put so much attention on the child that the child becomes so dependent on you that the child becomes a weakling actually in one sense. So that is it looks very good in the beginning, but then as you see that person grow, you start seeing those faults in that person's personality. Right? So we have to let people go through challenges. It's okay. It only makes them strong. It doesn't break them down. You know, it should not be very harsh also, but at the same time, we should not be too protective. Why hide them from the reality? That's the reality. Let them face it. Let them face it. Uh, Next verse. Sorry, there's a chat. I think there's a comment or question in the chat box. What is it? Jayanti Mataji. Once we think for the good sake of others, but always receive negative feedback or treatment, should we continue to do this again and again? No, if you are not being accepted by someone for whom you are trying to do good, then you go on to the next person. You don't have to just chase someone and do good for that person. Go on to the next person, to the next person.
Hare
So,
Krishna Prabhu, I have a
yes, Mataji.
question, please.
Yes, Mataji.
In the purport, there is this comment, rather he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Is this energy the material energy that's being referred to here?
Rejuvenating their energy means basically rejuvenating their life force, prana. As the body is aging, our prana is getting reduced, the life force. A new body
Okay.
has more prana, an old body has less prana, right?
Okay. Understood.
So that's what is being mentioned here.
Thank you,
Rejuvenating
Prabhu.
the prana.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Next.
I have one doubt.
Huh?
Prabhuji, I have heard from many places that Duryodhana was not bad. It is because of Shakuni's association he became bad, and like Gandhari is not an example of good parenting. So can you please comment on this?
And that is not an example of good parenting.
Yes, and Duryodhana was not bad. It is because of Shakuni's association.
Both ways, it's not that Duryodhana was not bad at all. When he was born at that time itself, there were signals in the nature that this boy is not going to be nice. So he was bad, and bad association made him worse. Right? He was bad anyway, but bad association only inspired him to continue to remain bad. Fine. So that is the thing. And Gandhari, I don't know on what way someone said that. Maybe yes, but anyway, parenting is something which is you try your best. Still, then everything is based on that person's karma after all. You may be a very good parent and your children may not be good. That's also possible because that person has come with his or her freedom, no? Right? And you may be a very bad parent and still the child may come out very nice. That is also possible. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhada agama no nityas tam stitikshashva bharata. And this is a very important verse, very important teaching actually. You can say this is how we become advanced in Krishna conscious life. We have to learn to tolerate. Tolerance is a gem of a quality. Hmm. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. So he's saying it's all a sensory perception actually. O son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. When we are focusing too much on the senses and the external sensory experience, then we are always, um, you know, um, moving from one state of emotion to another state of emotion. But the problem is that this world is going to change. And if you are going to keep on getting affected by that change, you will become miserable, right or wrong? Huh? You can't stop it from changing. Can you stop things from changing? No. Can you stop people from changing? No. People also change, right? You know someone now, that person after 5 years may become a totally different person. So, can we stop these changes? We can't. Now, if we depend too much on these changes and our emotions are too associated with these changes, then we are going to get emotional about every small thing. So, what we have to learn? Don't attach your emotions to these things. Attach your emotion to something which is permanent. It doesn't mean stop being emotional. It means be emotional, but emotional for what? For the permanent things. Have emotions for them, that thing, because that thing is not going to go out of your hands. Mm. But things and people are going to change, right? Even people's relationship with you might change. And then you may say, you are not the same person who was before, right? It may happen. So the thing is that, can you stop it from happening? You can't. And the way you are thinking about someone, someone might be thinking about you also, right? Because you yourself did not remain the same. You also changed. Mhm.
So, Prabhuji, does karma play a role in this?
Yeah, karma plays a very significant role in that. Now, let me just ask you a simple question. If you are, if you are, let's say you are a child. When you're 2 years old, your mother treated you in some way. When you become 10 years old, your mother continued to treat you in the same way. When you become 25 years old, your mother continues to treat you in the same way. What will you tell your mother? Mother, come on, I've grown up. I'm not the same now. So you have to also accept that now I am grown up, isn't it? Yes, you will still have that motherly feelings for me, but still you can't think that I'm just a 2-year-old baby now, right? Isn't it? So you will expect from your mother that as you are changing, her expectations from you should also change, right?
Yes. मदर को तो चेंज ही नहीं कर सकते.
No, but you can't change the feelings, but still the change has to be there, no?
If
Otherwise,
you are
otherwise,
30, you will think you are very small.
they will only think like that, but they cannot act like that. They can only think like that. If they start acting like that, then they will never get you married. They will say, you stay at my home only,
But Prabhuji, this
right?
expectation is not wrong, right? If we are growing, so definitely we will not expect the parents to be with us or, expect the
Yeah,
same.
it's not wrong. It's not wrong. Because as you are growing, then you also have different things to do in life, and you, instead of only taking from the parent, now you also would like to give back to the parent.
So it's a sign of being independent, isn't it?
It's a sign of being mature in that relationship,
Okay.
right? Immaturity in relationship means what? You don't like changes which are natural.
प्रभु जी मेरी मम्मी तो बोल देते तुझे अभी भी अक्कल नहीं है, चुप करके बैठ जा.
Maybe that is true. That's why she's staying like that. So, but actually, the point is, maturity in a relationship means you change as per the other person, and that's how reality is. For that, what is needed is, rather than a superficial relationship, you need a more mature, deep relationship. Isn't it? And that's the point Krishna is trying to say here. Don't see things or experience things only on the superficial platform. Go deeper into it.
Prabhuji, what exactly do you mean by like going deeper into the relationship? Like,
Deeper into the relationship means, instead of seeing that person only on the physical platform, only on the mental platform, you see that person as a spirit soul.
okay.
You see that person as a spirit soul. Now, I'll give you an example here. Let's say a mother gives birth to a child. Who is that child? Who is that child? Actually, the son of that mother or daughter of that mother? No, your ignorance makes you think like that. That child is a part and parcel of Krishna, right? Who has come to you as your baby for certain period of time. He doesn't belong to you. She doesn't belong to you. He belongs to Krishna in reality. To you, he or she has come for a certain period of time. Okay? Hmm? Is that wrong or right? That's right.
Yes.
Now, Krishna gave that baby to you, and after 20 years, Krishna says, I want that baby back. And now you say, no, Krishna, and you start crying. And he goes like, but it's mine, it's not yours. I just gave it to you for some time, for you to do some of your duties towards that person. But now it's my time to call that person back. So if you have this knowledge, then what will you tell Krishna? Thank you very much for giving me this seva for 20 years. And actually, it is true, the baby is yours, it's not mine. So take it back.
But Prabhuji, as a mother, it will be very difficult, right?
It will be very difficult. It is true. It is true, because I'm so attached to that identity as a mother, no? That's why it will be difficult. It's not that it's going to be easy. We are not talking about easy or difficult. We are talking about what is reality and what is not. Right? Difficult it will be. Who says it won't be difficult? But what is the reality? The reality is that today I give you something and I tell you keep it with you. And after 5 years, I ask, and then you start crying. No, Prabhuji, I don't want to give it to you. It's mine now. Then what will I say? Come on, don't be so childish. I gave it to you for some time. Now give it back to me.
प्रभु जी even
Right? Same way, just a second. Same way. I have gotten a parent. So I have gotten a person as a parent, but actually that person belongs to Krishna. Right? So if my parent passes away, Krishna has called that person back to him. The point is, during the time you are in a relationship, if you only um, see that relationship in material way, the kind of the amount of suffering, lamentation, sorrow that you will experience on that person going away from your life will be very strong, very heavy. But if you see that person on a spiritual platform, then when that person goes away, there will be, pain. But at the same time, there will be so much of gratitude, right? There will not be just pain. There will be gratitude. And then you will understand that person just move on in his journey or her journey to Krishna, closer to Krishna. I also have to move on. So it will become very difficult if we stay on the sensual platform. It will become little relatively easy if we start thinking on the spiritual platform.
Prabhu, can I just ask a question?
Can I ask a question?
One at a time, yes. Okay. Okay, one at a time. Then we'll go to the next verse. Shweta Mataji, what's your question?
Prabhuji, you said we should see person going as on the spiritual platform. So we should not see on material platform, otherwise it will be heavy to deal
It will
with.
be very difficult, yes.
So Prabhuji, if someone very close to you, you can say who could be your husband, and he move on with another girl in life, and it's ditch or something to you, how and you are stuck there. Now you are well, now you are better, very much better, but it went very heavy on you. Means how can you overcome these kind of situations in life?
So what
So
to do? No, there are only two things. You overcome, you don't overcome. What will be better?
no, overcome is better, but you were only, as you said, dependent on one person, and that
So then
keeps.
you have to slowly change your perspective of life. It may take time, but one has to put efforts to do it.
So how can you be
That's why
gratitude?
we have come to Krishna consciousness, no? If we are not going to dovetail all our emotions and attachments to Krishna, why are we practicing Krishna consciousness?
Can how can we dovetail our emotions to Krishna? Last question.
Start serving Krishna, you start loving Krishna, you start depending on Krishna. That wife or that person was serving her husband, right? Isn't it? Was doing something for the husband with love, with feeling that this person is my husband. So she can also cultivate that feeling towards Krishna. He's my savior, he's my protector, he's my master, he's my beloved. He loves me so much. Let me serve Krishna. So those emotions can be directed towards Krishna. And that's what every one of us have to learn to do, actually. That's called bhakti. What is bhakti? This is bhakti. That's what you have to learn. And it is our mistake. No, the position which Krishna deserves, we we are putting different people at that position. Actually, Krishna deserves that position. No one else deserves that position. Krishna deserves that position. So it's called misdirected attachment. Hmm. So we have to do that. Kunti Maharani is saying, praying to Krishna, that let my emotions and let my feelings and everything should be just directed towards you. Now it is directed in many different directions. I'm thinking about the Pandavas, I'm thinking of my brother also, I'm thinking of the Yatus. So, and because of that, I'm so much in dilemma. Whose good I should desire and whose bad I should desire. So therefore, now I'm requesting you, let my emotions, everything should be directed to you alone, to you only. That's the ultimate reality. Okay, last question, Sharada Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I mean, I understand, this point, but it seems a bit like, I don't know, like a little without a heart, what to say. It's very,
Why you have to be without a heart? You have a heart, but you have a heart for Krishna.
yes. Do we become, what do you say, cold towards people as a result
No,
of,
you
let's say,
don't. You don't become cold. You become very warm, actually. You become very kind. You don't become cold. Because when you start loving Krishna, then you start seeing everyone as a part and parcel of Krishna. Then you become kind. You become compassionate. You become very giving in nature. At the same time, you become very detached. Srila Prabhupada, he was not cold towards people. He was not, right? So he was very, very warm. He was very kind. He was very, he was full of emotions, feelings, sympathy, affection, concern. He had all those qualities. But then at the same time, he was not doing that on just material platform. First. Second thing, a nature of material emotion and material love is that it's very limited. It's for one person. It's for few people. It's for some selected personalities whom I think are mine, my mother, my father, my son, my daughter, my family members, my friends. It is very limited. So, the thinking or the feeling of the person is my love and my concern and kindness should be for these few only. I should give to them and I should receive from them. But as you start cultivating spiritual reality, the consciousness of it, the emotions of it, then you start feeling similar affection and kindness and concern for many people around you. And you start getting love also from many personalities around you. It doesn't make you cold actually. It only makes you more broad.
Prabhuji, as a grihastha, is it practically possible to come to the stage?
Why not? There are examples like that. There are so many examples like that. Even a grihastha can come to such a stage. If we talk about kings in the past, were they not grihasthas? They were grihasthas. But did they love only their child? No, they loved every single citizen of the country as if the citizen was their child. Such kings existed in the past. Such kings existed in the past. So, a simple one last statement: too much lamentation, depression, you know, sadness, moroseness is only, and only because of too much self-centeredness. The more your consciousness expands, the more you stop feeling these low emotions. The more your consciousness expands. And the more our consciousness becomes contracted, then the more you have such feelings. Right? So even at material platform, you'll see some people are not so much in lamenting mode compared to others. It's not that their suffering is less. Their suffering might be more than your suffering. Just on material platform also I'm talking, right? Their sufferings might be much more than your suffering, but you'll still see them less lamenting than you. Materially, I'm saying. You'll find people like that, isn't it? So what is the reason why they are lamenting less? And why am I lamenting more? Though they are having more problems than me, because they have learned one thing. What life is not meant for my personal happiness alone. I'm not just to take. My happiness should not lie in just taking and taking and taking. I should also experience happiness in giving. So then they are able to do that. Now, what to speak of spiritual platform? Okay, now how do we cultivate the right knowledge? By doing the right thing, by being dutiful, following our duties very nice, which means accept responsibility and execute those responsibilities. Sometimes you may have to make sacrifices for doing that, but you do it. So that helps us in cultivating real knowledge, right knowledge.
Prabhuji, sorry, no question, but comment. Today, education system is wrong. They are based on self-centeredness.
Yeah,
So,
that is correct.
today's
Today's education system is very wrong because for them, success. What are they teaching us? Success means you should become the topper. Success means you should become the best engineer. Success means you should become the best doctor. Success means you should have the highest salary. Success means you should be living the most luxurious life. So it's all about you, and you. Happiness means it's your personal, personal growth. But in the whole education system, there is no education in collective happiness. It's all about individual happiness. So everyone is thinking about his happiness or her happiness, and that makes you suffer. you know. But then I'll just give you an example here. If I relate with each one of you, there are 31 people present here, including me. If I relate with each one of you, and every single person's happiness makes me happy, don't you think I'll be a more happier person? Right? So that is collective happiness. So in the past, people, they enjoyed collective happiness more. At present, we are all being taught to chase after individual happiness, personal happiness. And we suffer more.
Media and advertisement is also like that.
Everything is like that, Professor.
Everything is
It's
like that.
about you. It's all about you as a person, as an individual. So the more we think about my own happiness, I suffer more. And we bring the same mentality in Krishna consciousness also. So then we are only thinking about my Krishna consciousness, my advancement, my bhakti, and we are not thinking about others' advancement and others' happiness in Krishna consciousness. You know. So when it becomes too much about you, then you are so focused on your own things, when you become miserable now.
But Prabhuji, if people around us are not willing to take it up, then how do we deal with it? Like we have to focus only on
You
our
don't
own.
have to. You don't have to think about only people around us. If you can always go to a sangha where people are interested in Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
It's not about just making people around me devotees. It's about going into association of people who are devotees.
Okay.
And in that association, being happy about everyone's devotional service, right? I'll give you a very simple example here. In Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada speaks about a pastime. Lord Krishna is playing the flute. So when Lord Krishna plays the flute, the trees on the bank of Yamuna become very happy. Why they become happy? If they would think too much about their personal happiness, they would become miserable, no? Krishna is enjoying the flute and we are not able to enjoy with Krishna. But the trees become extremely happy. How they become happy? They think in a Krishna conscious manner. And what is their thinking? This flute is a child of one of us. This flute is a child of one of us. The flute is made from wood, and that wood must have come from one of the trees, right? So the trees are thinking this flute is a child of one of us. And therefore, for the flute, we are happy. So it's not about their happiness, it's about the happiness of someone else, but I am in a Krishna conscious way connected to that person. So that makes me also happy. So they were very happy. Okay, so we stop here. See you next week.